उद्घाट्य योगकलया हृदयाब्जकोशं धन्यैश्चिरादपि यथारुचि गृह्यमाणः यः प्रस्फुरत्यविरतं परिपूर्णरूपः श्रेयस्समे दिशतु शाश्वतिकं मुकुन्दः अमरीकबरीभारभ्रमरी मुखरीकृतं दूरीकरोतु दुरितं गौरीचरणपङ्कजं परस्परतपःसम्पत्फलायितपरस्परौ प्रपञ्चमातापितरौ प्राञ्चौ जायापति स्तुमः. So we looked at three varieties of Rupakam. So there are two. First, Rupakam is divided into two types. One is Abheda Rupakam, the other is Tadrupya Rupakam. Abheda Rupakam is where you are not specifying what is the Vishaya there. You are only pointing it out by a Sarvanama Shabda. So there were three types. Within that Abheda Rupakam, you had Anubhaya Abheda Rupakam, Nyuna Abheda Rupakam, Adhika Abheda Rupakam. So you will have to look at whether the Vishaya is the same as the Vishayi, or is it lesser than the Vishayi, or is it more, is it described as being superior to the Vishayi? So the first example was, Ayam hi dhurjatihi sakshat yena dagdhaha puraha kshanat. Ayam iti kasyachana rajnyaha varnanatra. So you take it as I am Raja. So you're not specifying, but you're in fact saying that Sakshat Durjatihi. He is in fact Shiva himself. So there is a samyam there. And you're saying that these two are the same. There is no difference at all. And you're also saying that the action done by both of them is also the same, which is Puradahanam. So there is a samyam based on Puradahanam. Both of them, whether it is Shiva or this king, both of them have destroyed cities here. And because of that samyam, we are saying that this person, we are superimposing Shivatvam on him or Durjatitvam on this Raja and saying, I am Sakshat Durjatihi. So that Anubhayatvam, or that there is no difference between the two of them, whether it is lesser or more, is not at all here, because you are using the word sakshat. This is something like saying is equal to. This is equal to dhurjatihi. You are using that equals sign here. In Nyunam, the example he gave was Ayam aste vina shambhuhu tartiyakam lochanam. Ayam again. Shambhuhu aste. So Shambhu is the Vishayi. He is comparing the king to Shiva again. But he's saying that there is something less in this king, which is Tartiyakam Vilochanam, that is the Tritiya Vilochana Rahitam. This person, Raja, I am Tritiya Lochana Rahitaha. So, which means he is lesser than Shambhu, lesser than the Upamanam. It is true. So, the definition of Upamanam and Upameya itself is Upamanam is the standard or the Utkrishta Vastu. Upameyam is the Nikrishta Vastu, wherein it does not have all of the qualities that are there, or the height of the quality that is present in the Upamanam, which is the standard of comparison. So, you keep it as at the peak. Which is the same what is happening in Nyuna Abheda Rupakam also. You are saying that Shambhu, who is the Upamanam here, he is the best. But instead of saying anything of that sort, that Shambhu eva atra utkrishtaha atava Upamanam, I am Shambhuriva, ityadikam tu na uktva, tatra you are actually adding one more thing and saying, there is a quality that is not present. There is a quality that is present in the Upamanam, which is absent in the Upameya. So by using the word Vina, we are actually pointing out to the Rahityam or the Nyunatvam in the Vishaya. Okay. So this is the difference between the earlier Rupakam, Anubhaya and Nyunam. Now, Adhikyam. Vishaya, so Vishayi will always be the Utkrishta Vastu, whereas here the opposite happens. Adhika Abheda Rupakam ityukte, tatra Vishayasya Vishayinaha Adhikyam Suchyate. So Shambhuhu Vishwam Avati Adya Swikritya Samadrishtitam. Shambhu. So this person is Shambhu. Iti Sakshadayam Shambhuhu iti na uchyate yatra. Ayam iti purvasmat shlokat. We take that here and understand Ayam to be the Vishaya or Upameyam and say Ayam Shambhuhu. This Shiva, he protects the world. Vishwam Avati Adya. Samadrishtitam Swikritya. He takes on a Samadrishti, a look of equanimity. That is, he look the Vaishamyam Vina Atra Saha Karoti. So if you say Vaishamyam vina saha karoti, then it would become the second type of Rupakam, whereas he says Samadrishtitam Svikritya, because Vishama Drishti is always, he has a uneven partiality. So Samadrishti is someone who is being impartial. So you make use of the double meaning and try to make it as a lakshanam for, sorry, lakshya for adhika abheda rupakam. Okay. Now the next three,
piece, right? The third piece, the third adhika abheda rupakam. My question is, there is no Nyunatvam, like there's nothing like Vina, there's no property that is not there. First of all, right? It is simply saying you're as good as Shambhu.
Yes.
Correct?
Correct.
If that is all that is there in it, why is it not a very regular Upamanu?
Rupakam, you mean?
No, I'm asking the original one, where we started with this entire discussion. Is it simply because it is not Vachaka Shabdavina?
Vachaka Shabdam nasti atra. So
you also had a bunch of things where you said Vachaka Lopaha and things like that, right? So why could, I'm just asking, why is this versus that?
So Vachaka Lopathukku vandu, what was the example that we were looking at in Upama? In other base panni solren. Let me go back to that. Idhula ennala kandupidikka mudiyala. In an example oda solrache, it will be easier for you to just correlate. So I'll go to the Luptopama there. Varnya Upamana. So Tadit Gauri Indutulyasya pato. Generally, அது வந்து சமஸ்த பதத்தோட வருது. You need துல்லியம் இல்லைன்னா கூட தடித் கௌரி அப்படின்னு இருக்கு. அப்போ தடித் இவ கௌரி. The iva is actually gone into the samastha padam there. There is no indication of iva or anything here.
Correct. So I'm saying there's a Vachaka Lopaha.
Vachaka Lopangartha vida Vachaka Adarshanam da anga irukku. It is not even an adarshana of any sorts here. Shambhuhu Iva is not understood here, is what I'm saying.
I think Mahoday is asking when we should take Iva and when we should take Eva. How to differentiate that Iva and Eva in Luptopam. You
need a Samana Dharma there. Here there is no Samana Dharma as such. You are actually completely superimposing and saying he is Shambhu. Where is the question of even trying to think he is like Shambhu inge? Okay.
So in that sense, in the Vishayi, the Upamana Upameyam there is simply the standard of comparison. It is not about like, is it? Okay. I am simply applying a basic concept, right, madam? There are 4 things, right? Upamana Upameyam.
Correct da. Ana, what I'm trying to say is, see, in the edathil anga vandu, take the example of the Luptopama from the earlier one. The example was Tadit Gauri Tanvi was the example. Tadit is your Upamanam, Tanvi is the lady, she is the, you go back to your table of Luptopama and see there. Okay? Adla, Tadit Gauri Tanvi is your example for Vachaka Lupta. Okay?
Yeah.
So Tadit is the Upamanam, Gauratvam will be your Samana Dharma, and Tanvi is the Upameya. Correct? Now, what is happening in that expression, Tadit Gauri? How was that expression formed, first of all? Within the Vigraha Vakya, you have an Iva there, which is submerged in that Samastha Padam. அந்த மாதிரி இங்க இல்லங்கற. So it is think about grammar. What is in grammar? What do you think of lopa in grammar? It is not abhavaha. It is only adarshanam, lopaha. Yes. So the same way, there also the iva is not explicitly seen, but it is within, behind, in the vigraha vakyam. There is no such case here.
But in all comparisons, forget about all comparisons. Her eyes are like that of the, let us say, Kamala,
Lotus.
Kamalakshi, or whatever, right? Or you say her face is like Chandra.
Hmm.
Whether you say like or not, she is Chandran sonna kuda, she is a moon sonna kuda, you know that she is not a moon. It is only a comparison. If I say you are Shiva,
Correct.
it's only that I'm only comparing you with someone like Shiva.
Yes.
It's a given thing, yeah.
Yes. This is a so
So that is exactly
Upamanam.
what the Upamanam and Upamayam is coming from.
அது லேயர்ல இருக்கு, அது அடியில இருக்கு. It is not in the Vachyam. What is in the Vachyam here? Number, this is an Arthalankara. We have to look at the words that are present in the lines here. It is not about what is there in the Tatparyam.
Oh, okay. So the expectation is that in an average problem solving way, I'm looking at it, right? If I get a phrase, I need to know all the 100 alankaras and then scan what, eliminate what doesn't fit and then pick. Huh?
Ama.
What are you saying? Seriously?
You don't do reverse like that. We usually go by association. I don't need to know all the 72 ragas in Melakarta for me to identify whether this is Shankarabharanam or not. I would have listened to 100 Shankarabharanams and identified this is Shankarabharanam. That's all.
Right. So that is you are at a certain stage of expertise. I'm asking if I were to look at
Illam practice the Abhyasena to Kaunteya. Abhyasena to Kaunteya.
For that Tadittanviyam, I can say this. Yam Tadittanviyam Mama Hridayatimiram Lasati or Prakashayati. In that it will become Rupaka, right?
We have to put Tanvi there. We cannot put Gaura there. If we put Tadit Tanvi, then it becomes Tadit Eva Tanvi because you have both the Upamana and the Upameya. The Eva, the Rupakam, is again in the Vigraha Vakyam there. Or it is in the sentence. Whereas if it is Tadit Gauri, the Vigraha Vakyam becomes Tadit Eva. You have that Eva in the background. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Yeah. So we'll go to Tadrupyam now. We'll look at the text and then...
Actually, to study Kuvalayananda, it makes sense to study it only after a person has read a lot of poetry, right? Otherwise, I mean, for a beginner to study it, it becomes very difficult to appreciate the actual alankaras. It appears to be a complex science, like mathematics. But if you read a lot of poetry and then do it, then I think it's easier.
This is the classic case of catch-22 where shastram adhitya kavyam pathaniyam kavyam. You'll have to. So always epome, you start with the kavyam, then read shastram, then again come back to the kavyam.
And come back.
Yeah, you'll with that ground you have to. But you're supposed to have read a couple of things. That's why we also introduce certain alankaras. Adikapra you read the shastra, then you go back as you read kavyams for this level and other levels. You try to apply this in the kavyam. Right.
And it's all about an analysis of the words in the sentence at the literal level. Rather than the ultimate purport of the sentence.
Yes.
So it's a technical analysis of the words. For example, if in math, if I say x square is equal to y, as opposed to x into x equal to y, even that is the difference.
Yes, there is.
Right. So at the symbol level. So the Tatparyam.
So don't. That's why I keep saying don't look at the Tatparyam.
Don't look at the Tatparyam. Yeah. Okay.
No, the question that I'm asking is not. I understand. The X square example actually is not just similar, it's identical. What I'm saying is, in this case, there is a subtlety of a difference that is not quite obvious from the stream of thought we were discussing from first to Upama.
Correct. Lupta Upamakum idukum, how do you find the difference? So you need to know whether that Eva is there in the background in the form of a Samastapadam or not, Vigraha Vakyam or not.
Okay.
Yeah, Janani, I had a question.
Ma'am, like I had the same question that Mahodaya asked in the first class in the Luptopama, like how to distinguish. Will the order of the Vishaya, will that, like right now I have come to a conclusion, is that even Mukha Kamalam versus Kamalam, like, will that help in determining whether it is Rupakam
Upama or Rupakam? Okay, Rupakathla vandu in a samasta padam, whether it is Upamita Samasam or Rupaka Samasa. Simple thing is, in Upamita Samasa, Visheshanam, the Samanya Dharma should come there. Okay? Samanya Vachanaihi. Upamanani Samanya Vachanaihi. You need the Upamanam and the Samanya Vachana to go together in the Samasta Padam. For Rupakam, you will find a case like this. Ipa Mukha Induna. Mukham would be your Upameya, Indu is the Upamana. These two are formed into a Samasta Padam. So Mukhameva Induhu. In the Madri Irkarche, definitely it is a Rupakam. Okay?
But when you said Upamanani Samanya Vachanahi, the word Samanya refers to the Dharma.
Yes.
The quality. As opposed to Mukha, Indu, they are two different objects.
Correct. Anga Adnaldan, Tadit Gauri is the example for that in Upamita Samasa.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a Rupaka Samasa.
So nowhere in the Rupakam we will ever have a particular Samana Dharma, Sadhana Dharma. Everything, it is left to the reader to read.
They can mention, they need not mention, it's up to the poet.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
In all places where Sadhana Dharma is not mentioned, it is inferred, correct?
Yes, it is.
So, yeah. In that sense, there is no difference.
Correct. It is inferred. You don't need the Samana Dharma. You just assume that it is the superimposition has happened because of certain gunas there.
Correct. I'm with you.
So now we move on to 4, 5 and 6.
In the sloka, Smrita api Darunatam Tapam, that is a classic Rupaka, right? It's just got thought of now.
I'll think about it. Yeah, you can look at the Vyakhyanam and check it out. Rasagangadhara's first sloka, no? Yeah, you can look at the Vyakhyanam. It will be more clear. Yeah. So the next one is Tadrupya Rupakam, where the Upameyam is mentioned.
Purusha Vyagraha tat Rupakam bhavati.
Yes.
Athava Luptopama Purusha Vyagraha.
So those are certain cases. It depends on how the Vyakhyata wants to explain it. Okay. So as much as possible, we will take it only as Rupakam. But because there, according to Sutra, it is only, what is that? Vayyakarana Khasuchi, you know? In that kind, it's like a Ninda Purvakam only, it comes like that. Otherwise, it is not. There are certain exceptional cases like Purusha Vyagra where you take it as Upamita Samasa. Adala, case by case, you have to look at it and analyze. Okay? Yeah.
Okay.
So the next variety is Tadrupyam, and Tadrupya is also divided into 3, Anubhaya, Nyuna and Adhika. The first example given for that is Asya Mukhenduna Labdhe Netranande Kim Induna. Asyaha Mukha Induna Netranande Labdhe Sati. Asyaha Tanvyaha Mukha Induna. Mukhameva Induhu Mukhenduhu. The moon face. So the face which is the moon here. Netranande labdhe sati, when there is pleasure to the eyes, when we have obtained pleasure for the eyes, tena netrayoho anande labdhe sati, induna, prasiddha induna, chandrena, kim, what is the prayojanam there? Na kimapi prayojanam. So mukham eva induhu mukhenduhu, tena mukhenduna, with that moon, which is now in the form of the face of the lady, Netrayoho anande labdhe sati. When we have gotten ananda for the eyes, that is the eyes, it is a pleasure to the eyes to look at this beautiful lady's face. So induna, prasiddha chandrena, kim na kimapi prayojanam. Mukhenaiva chandrakaryasya netranandasya karanat. Because the netranandam is a karyam that is usually done by the chandra. But now that work has been achieved by this face, which is a moon now for me. So there is no use for the Prasiddha Chandra. Okay. So atra mukha chandrayoho bhede. There is a very specifically he mentions mukham and indu. So we know that there is a difference between the two of them. So mukha chandrayoho bhede pratiyamane api mukhenduna iti mukhe chandratva aropaha bhavati. So there is a superimposition of chandratvam, the quality of being a Chandra, being a moon, is now superimposed upon this mukham because they both can give that netra anandam. Netra ananda karatva rupa tadiya dharma aropa matre paryavasyati. But what is the where does it end? That superimposition does not go to all of the other things, that it is far off from the earth, rahu grastaha bhavati, or there are kalankas in it. Tatha, you don't take all of those other qualities. It only stops with the quality of netra ananda karatvam.
So the fact where you come across bheda there?
Mukha and Chandra are specifically mentioned.
Okay.
Adinala there is a bedam. Whereas when I say Sakshad Induhu idam, iti nasti. And the Sarvanama Shabdam vechinde sollala.
If we do not say Induna, we just say Asyaha Mukhenaiva Labde Netranande, then it becomes Pratipa?
Yes, it does.
Oh, okay. That was the question. Okay. That's why I said where because when I simply read Asyam Mukhenduna Labdhe Netranande, I was wondering where is Bheda coming there from?
Mukham eva Induhu aduna. So the Mukham, I have an object and I have mentioned that it is an object. I am not saying whatever that is in front of me, it is actually a moon. Tatha nasti.
So if I say Asyam Induna Labde Netranande Kim Tadinduna?
Asya Induna.
Asyam Induna Labde.
Asyam Barade.
Okay, Asya
Asya Induna Labde Netranande. Then adu vandu Abheda Rupakam.
Abheda Rupakam. So Anaya sollanuma? Anaya Induna apdi sollanuma?
Anaya alla. Asyaha Induna. Her face, her moon dane appadi thane eduthukano.
Okay.
Or Anena Induna Labde Netranande Kim Induna. Anena Induna. This moon.
Netranande Kim Tadinduna and konjam anga beda sollanuma il vendama?
Venda, avasyame illiye. You don't need.
So now I'm just using pronouns and therefore I'm not explicitly mentioning the object. Therefore, it becomes Abheda.
Abheda.
But this point about using pronouns is not explicitly called out in the Vyakyanams. Though now it is obvious that you have said it.
They have not said, but
no, it is obvious that now that you called it out, it's obvious because that's how you get Abheda. But it's not mentioned in the Vyakyana.
Our mention பண்ணல நான் என்ன பண்றேன்?
சொல்றேன்.
No, see, yeah, that's where
and the abedam kondu varakku you need the pronoun. I mean, that is a point which probably those guys didn't think it was necessary to mention, but I'm thankful that you're mentioning it.
It's easier to identify. Otherwise, where ellam ore madri irukra mari irukum, it will be such a mess in your mind then. You need certain clues to quickly fix it in your mind.
Exactly. Yeah.
So Netrananda
Asya Induna Labdhe Netranande Kiminduna is what was the thing that
Abhedamnu solra. So Asya utrungo. Inge vandu Anena Induna Labdhe. Anena.
Okay.
Purodrishyamanena Induna. Whatever I am seeing in front of me. Ada.
Okay.
So Netra Anandakaratva Rupa Tadiya Dharma Tadiya Prasiddha Chandrasya Dharmasya Aropa Matre Paryavasyati, it ends or it stops only with the Aropa Matre. What are you superimposing here? Only the Dharma of Netrananda Karatvam, that the quality of bringing pleasure to the eyes. So Nyunata Adhikya Yoho Anuktaya. Nyunam or Adhikyam is not mentioned here. So Anubhaya Tadrupya Rupakam. Okay. Now the Aparam Udaharanam for this. Kim Padmasya Ruchim Nahanti Nayananandam Vidhatte Nakim Vridhim Va Jasha Ketanasya Kurute Naloka Matrena Kim Vatrendau Tavasatyayam Yad aparaha shitamshuhu ujrumbhate darpasyad amritena ched iha tadapi astyeva bimbadhare. There are many other alankaras here also. The only thing that we have to look for is Rupakam. Okay, Pratipam is also there. Yes, there is the fifth variety of Pratipa and all are there. That is the Angi Alankara. The Anga Alankara is Rupakam. Let's only focus on the meaning and then the Rupakam. Then we will go to the Pratipa. Okay, otherwise confusion varum. Anala, keep it simple. So, Kim Padmasya Ruchim Nahanti Vaktrendau Tava Vaktrendau Sati Ayam Yat Aparaha Shitamshuhu Ujrumbhate. So ayam tava vaktrendau, sorry, tava vaktrendau sati, because your face, your moon face is present here, you know, your face moon is present here. Ada. The same mukhendu, ade pattern lada inge irukku. It is the same pattern here. So vaktram eva induhu vaktrenduhu. So tava vaktrendau mukha chandraha atra asti. Tasmat karana tava vaktrendau sati ayam yat aparaha shitamshuhu. This other moon that is ujrumbhate. There is another moon that is shining in the sky. So shitamshuhu shitaha amshavaha kiranaha yasya. This moon has very cool rays. So aparaha, this other moon that is there, ujrumbhate, darpaha syat amritena. If it is possible, probably it is being very arrogant that it has amritam in it. It is also called amritamshu. The moon is supposed to produce nectar, and the devas take that nectar from it. Devas, pitras, and everybody use the rays from the moon, and the moon is supposed to have amrita amshu, amrita kiranaha saha. So darpaha syat amritena. If it has this quality of, if it is very arrogant and very proud that it has amritam, then the same amritam is present in this vaktrendu also. So he is talking about all the qualities that the moon is capable of doing, which is present even in this face here, in the moon that is in the form of this face. So kim padmasya ruchim nahanti. Doesn't this face also remove the kanti, remove the luster of the lotus? That is, when you compare this face to the lotus, we see that the lotus's luster is not so bright when compared to this face's luster. Okay, so that is, it is more beautiful than the lotus. So kim padmasya ruchim ayam vaktrenduhu nahanti. Does it not remove the kanti, beauty of the lotus? It definitely removes the beauty of the lotus, because this is more beautiful than the lotus. If you take it in the Chandra Paksha, the moon is capable of killing the beauty of the lotus, because the moment the moon rises, the lotus completely fades away and it becomes mukulita. It does not bloom. It only blooms, and the brightness of the lotus becomes much more during the day when the sun rises. So when the moon rises, it actually removes the luster of the lotus. So padmasya ruchim induhu api hanti. Ayam vaktrenduhu api padmasya ruchim hanti. But the tatparyam there is different. Even though in words, it is saying that both of them are doing the same work. Whatever work the Prasiddha Chandra can do, the face of my lady can also do that. So vaktrenduhu api padmasya ruchim hanti. The second one is nayananandam vidhattena kim. Chandraha yatha nayananandam karoti. Tatha ayam vaktrenduhu api nayananandam karotyeva vidhatte. Nakim na panalyan abdin kekramari. So this face also gives, doesn't it also give pleasure to the eyes? Vriddhim va jashaketanasya kurute naloka matrena kim. Aloka matrena, by just merely looking at that face, so, or looking at the moon, let's say, as an uddipana vibhava, The moment you look at the moon, you want to enjoy the moonlight with your beloved, and it increases the feeling of Manmatha in your mind. Jhasha ketanasya vriddhim kurute. Alokamatrena, Chandrasya alokamatrena, either Chandra Jyotsna matrena, with just its prakasha, the moon is capable of increasing Jhasha ketanasya vriddhim kurute. Jhasha na makaraha. So Makaraketanaha, Makaradvajaha, he has the symbol of a crocodile or a great big jalajantu on his flag. So Saha Manmathaha iti. So Jashaketana is a Paryayavachi for Paryaya word for Manmatha, Kama. So Kamasya Vriddhim Karoti Yataha Chandram Drishtva Tatra Priyayoho Manasi tu Kamasya Vriddhihi Jayate. It's natural. The same way here also, Priyayaha Mukham Drishtva Atra Priyasya Manasi Kamasya Vriddhihi Jayate Nakim. Alokamatrena, by merely seeing the lady's face, the mind of the beloved, the Priya, Manmatha, the Kama increases when he looks at her face. So all of these, the work, all the three actions that the moon does, I'm able to achieve it with this moon in the form of the lady's face. No, there is one more thing that the moon has. He is very proud of the fact that he has Amritam with him. So, ayam aparaha Shitamshuhu yaha ujrambate. There is another moon there. If he has Darpaha Amritena Chet, if he seems to feel very proud about the fact that he has Amritam with him, Tadapi Asti eva Bimbadhare. In her lips, I can find the nectar there. I don't need the moon for the Amritam. Okay. Atra Vishayinoho Mukha Chandrayoho Bhede Pratiyamane Api Mukham Vaktram. Iti tatra vaktra padenaiva atra shloke nirdishyate. So the padam is mentioned here instead of saying naikayaha indau sati or asmin indau sati iti. Okay. None of that. Or bhumau indau sati. You can also say the moon is always only in the akasham. You can say bhumi chandraha. Something like that, where you are actually saying that there is something here which is like a chandra. Tatha nasti atra. Atra tu vaktram iti. There is a mention of the word vastu, which is the face. So mukha chandrayoho bhede pratiyamane api. Vaktrendau iti mukhe chandratva aropaha kriyate. So the chandratvam or the aspect of being chandra is being superimposed upon the vaktram. Chandra karya karitva matre paryavasitaha. So what all work that the moon can do, can achieve, we are only saying that work can be achieved by this vaktram also. We are not talking about the other qualities. Daivatvam, or there is a waxing waning. In the same way, there is a waxing waning for this woman's face also. Don't bring in all of those qualities. You're only specifying the actions that both of them can do. Utkarsha apakarshayoho apratipadanat. There is no mention of utkarsham or apakarsham. This is also doing the same thing. This is also doing the same thing. Ityeva tatra varnana vartate. Tasmat anubhaya tadrupya rupakam. Clear? Any doubts?
In the Rupakam, always we should have a samasaha between the Vishaya and Vishayi.
Vandame. Tadrupyathukkum.
Like for example, Vaktrendra, that is like
Vanda.
that.
Avasyamilla. You will see other examples also where you don't need the samastapadam. Iyam sadhvi apara lakshmihi varapurdu adutadula. If you see this, sadhvi iyam apara lakshmihi asudhasagara. So sadhvi iyam eva lakshmihi apdiye mention pannalam. You don't need to have the samastapadam there. I can have it in a sentence form also.
Okay. Then I am little bit how to differentiate between the two Niti Shatakam Shlokams where I was thinking it is Pratipam 5.
எங்க இருக்கு எந்த ஸ்லோகம்?
They are that kshantischet kavachena kim kim aribihi krodhosti chet dehinam, all those kind of things.
Kshanti, so anga vandu there is you're not mentioning very clearly that kshantihi chet aparena kavachena kim iti nasti. If you have it as aparena kavachena, then you can say that it is rupakam along with pratipa. So there is pratipam which is the angi, and rupakam helps that pratipam. And the aparatvam should be there to say that there is a difference between the two objects.
That is only if you are using the tadrupyam thing. What if it is a abheda rupakam?
Abheda rupakama irundaduna kshantihingarde irukade anga. You will have only kavacham.
இது இருந்தா கவச்சத்தோட என்ன அப்படின்றது. Like you say,
I am.
Oh.
I mean,
okay, so you will not have both Vishaya and Vishayi in the case of Abheda. And if you have both of them, it will be a Tadrupyam. And in the Tadrupyam case, you are also putting some kind of Sarvanama Shabda or some other word also comes.
அது என்ன some other word எனக்கு புரியல. அது
like aparena, like that.
Adu, you don't need, that's not a sarvanama there. Whether you want to put it in samastapadam or you indicate with aparaha, something or the other will come there. That's all.
Okay.
Okay.
I did the apara only to bring out the fact that it is being considered as a kavacha.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Aparam na solrache, see, when I have this, why do I need that? Abdina. There is another one also, prasiddham yad vidyate tat kavachantu tatra, there is no avashyakata for it.
Yeah. So if I say satyam chet tapasa kim, that would not fit in any of these constructs. Right?
Adu venda. Adula vandu, because there is no comparison there.
No comparison, exactly. Okay. Yeah.
Because both of them are gunas there, and one guna is better than the other guna. That's all is being mentioned. There is no comparison.
Yeah.
So is that a pratipam or no?
இல்ல, அது பிரதீபம்லாம் இல்ல அந்த இடத்துல. There is, it's just a simple line, அவ்வளவுதான். சத்யம் சேத் தபசா கிம். When I have the gunam satyam, I don't need tapas. This itself is a big penance, and satyam is considered as a tapas. So it is only a statement of fact. There is no alankara there as such. There is no chamatkaram which brings out some beauty of comparison. அந்த மாதிரிலாம் எதுவுமே இல்லங்க. Whereas kavacham, there is a physical kavacham, something else, and kshantihi is only a guna. You are comparing this guna to an external kavacham. The kavacham work is different from kshanti's work. You understand? So you have to understand whether there is a comparison there or whether it is just a statement of fact. Okay.
Ma'am, I have a question. This eva keyword is exclusively only for tadrupya rupakam.
Both. Abheda ayameva shivaha abdinnu kuda varum.
In both it becomes abheda rupakam.
Yes.
Okay. Are there any keywords that can distinguish abheda rupakam and tadrup? I know sakshat is one of them, and
pratyaksham edu appadi pannanumங்கிறது இல்ல. You know, you just look at whether the upameya is mentioned or is it just indicated by a sarvanama or not at all. இருக்கலாம். shambhuhu ayam அப்படிங்கிறது அந்த மாதிரி. Okay. न्यून ताद्रूप्य रूपकस्य उदाहरणं साध्वी इयं अपरा लक्ष्मीः असुधासागर उदिता.
क्षम्यतां तत्र उज्जृम्भते इति आसीत् खलु? उज्जृम्भते इति
प्रकाशते.
I missed it. Okay, prakashate.
Yeah.
Because jrumbha is like yawning.
Expanding, no?
Expansion.
Expansion. So ujrumbate darpena saha tatra prakashate iti. That's why. Ujrumbhanam.
Okay.
The same as vijrumbanam, right? Sometimes we say vijrumbanam also the same meaning.
Yeah. Vyaktataya vartate iti. Rajate. You can take it as a you can say rajate iti. It's not that he is actually ruling and all that. It's something like that, giving that impression of Sadhviyam apara lakshmihi. Sadhvi iti kachana pativrata. Iyam sadhvi pativrata. Apara lakshmihi. She is another Anya Lakshmi. She is like she is another Lakshmi here, but she has not come from Ksheerasagara.
You had told there is Pratipa also in the previous one.
This one. Okay. Yeah. Panchama Pratipam vartate no Kaimarthyam. What is the use of the Prasiddha Shitamshu? Because every work is satisfied by this Vaktram. It is an underlying Pratipa there, but that Pratipa is Yat Ayam Aparaha Darpaha Syate. He Mrityo Kaste Darpaha. We have Striyaha Santi Khalu iti. So He Shitamsho Kaste Darpaha Amritena iti. Tarhi Asti Bimbadaraha. So that is the Pratipa.
It's another. It's not Kaimutika, but it's another.
Another, va?
Yeah. Ilya.
Third one.
Not Kaimutika. Kaimarthyam.
Kaimarthyam. It's not Kaimarthyam, but doing another.
Third one, right?
I thought fifth one.
Upamanasya anadaraha.
Upamanasya anadaraha nasti atra. Kimartham darpaha iti prichamaha kalu.
Yeah. That is the fifth variety.
It is the fifth variety.
But Pratipam does not it need the swapping of the Upamanam and Upamayam for the fifth variety?
So Drishtam ched vadanam tasyaha kim padmena kim induna. Atra vaktrendau drishte sati kim or vaktrendoho bimbadharaha vartate khalu tasmat kimartham shitamshuhu. So
tatta kimartham iti vachye nasti kila.
So darpaha syat amritena chet, and the chet gives you that effect. He says
அப்படின்னு சொன்னா okay
அந்த மாதிரி வருது. There is an underlying Pratipa here. He gives that.
I got the suggestion of a Pratipa, like I was thinking, or maybe it's the third one I was thinking. The Anadara. But
Anadara va. Atra apara shitamshuhu iti prasiddha chandrabedam mukatma chandre pratipadya. Vaktrendau. No. Sorry. Akinchit karaha. He doesn't do anything at all. Iti tasya kaimarthya uktehe panchama pratipa prakaraha pradhanyena vivakshitaha. That's why I was saying that.
Vivakshitaha natu uktaha.
Yes. But it is pradhanyena vivakshitaha chet, then vivaksha tatraiva vartate iti. So we take it as pradhana alankarastu atra panchama pratipaha and take the Rupakam as the angam for this.
Okay. So this is this would be the Samskrita illa. Idanadu
Sankaraha. Angangi bhava Sankaraha.
Nirakshirava.
Ama.
Nirakshira bhava.
Yes.
I think wherever the Pratipam comes, it will dominate the Rupakam.
I think எல்லாம் நீங்க இப்ப போடாதீங்க. அதுக்குன்னு ஒரு எக்ஸாம்பிள் வரும், உங்களுக்கு என்ன தெரியும். அதனால don't make, see when you read one, never make a final conclusion, judgment pass பண்ணக்கூடாது. சரியா? இந்த இடத்துல இப்படி you just take it as from example to example for now, and then later probably at some point you will come upon discussions where they say, okay, if it is like this, then it will be like this. So
this won't be like alankarasya dhvanihi, pratipa alankara dhvanyate.
He doesn't say dhvani here. So according to the Vyakhyata, he says pradhanyena darpaha syad amritena chet tarhi tadapi asti bimbadhare eva tarhi tava kim. So it becomes a pradhanam is what he is saying.
It is not so suggested, it is explicit. Okay.
It's not so evident.
Okay.
You can take it as gamyam. You can't take it as dhvani as such.
That's what I was saying. Gamyam is probably what I was saying.
Gamyam is one step korachal. So it's
korachal.
I would rather have it as gamyam with but the pradhanyam is with that.
Yeah. Understood. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now we can go.
Yes.
No problem. Iyam sadhvi pativrata asudha sagara udita kshira samudrat anutpanna. So this Lakshmi, this pativrata is another Lakshmi, but she has not come out of kshira sagara. So atra apara Lakshmihi ityanayena prasiddha Lakshmi bhedaha uktaha. Okay. So because we say that this is another Lakshmi, so which means she is a Lakshmi, but at the same time the other person is also Lakshmi. So which means sadhvi iti atra, we have mentioned her. We have not said iyam apara Lakshmihi iti nasti. So we are actually saying sadhvi iyam, this pativrata is another Lakshmi. So apara Lakshmihi iti karanat prasiddha Lakshmi taha atra bhedaha uchyate. तथा च साध्व्यां लक्ष्मीत्व आरोपः धर्ममात्र आरोप पर्यवसायी. Only that Lakshmitvam, which is a dharma that you are trying to superimpose onto this sadhvi pativrata. Lakshmi garche, it can be any dharma that you want to think of. It is left to the imagination of the poet. Maybe he saw that she is also wearing a lot of jewels and she is standing, so he is saying iyamapi apara Lakshmihi iti. Or you might say, in general, she has the aura of a very prosperous woman, not just in the jewels that she is wearing. Lakshmi, it can be any Lakshmi, Veera Lakshmi, Santana Lakshmi, something and all is there, no? So any kind of prosperity that she stands for. So you are only putting in that dharma aropaha. You are not saying that iyam narayanasya patni iti na uktamatra. And na sudhasagara udita iti nyunatva uktya nyuna tadrupya rupakam. So you are saying like vinatartiyakam. Asudha, the nanya here in asudha brings out that nyunatva. Okay, you can say vina rahitam rite. Inga he uses the nanya samasa to indicate the nyunatva. Clear? The example aparam udaharanam is very easy. Achatur vadanaha brahma dvibahuhu aparaha harihi aphala lochanaha shambhuhu bhagavan badarayanaha. Badarayana is Ivarla Vyasar.
Vyasa.
Vyasa is Brahma, but he doesn't have four faces. So tatra chaturvadanaha achaturvadanaha iti nanya tatra nyunatvam drishyate. Dvibahuhu prasiddhaha harihi vishnuhu tu chaturbahuhu. So he has four hands. Here he has only two hands. So there is a nyunatvam here. Aphala lochanaha, he doesn't have the third eye. This is like the vinatartiyakam lochanam. Shambhuhu bhagavan badarayanaha. Since badarayana is mentioned here, you have the mention of the Vishaya and the Vishayi, which has, there are three Vishayis here. One is Brahma, Hari and Shambhu, Trimurti. Atra Brahmadibihi Badarayanasya Bheda Pratitehe. Even though there is a, you show that there is a difference between the two of them, but there is a Tadrupya Ranjanam because you have not used the words like Iva. Okay. So tadrupya ranjanam. Ranjanam ityukte aropaha eva tatra. Tadrupyena aropaha kriyate. So achaturvadanaha ityadina nyunata api ukta. So nyuna tadrupya rupakam. Okay. So the next one is adhika tadrupya rupakam. Ayam kalankinas chandrat mukhachandro atirichyate. Ayam Purovarti mukham eva chandraha. Mukha chandraha. So ayam purovarti mukha chandraha kalankinaha chandrat chandrastu prasiddhaha chandraha tu kalanki vartate. He has a kalankam, he has a chinnam. There are black spots in the moon when we see him. So it is like a black spot which is not Purna Chandraha, so something like the Kalankaiste Hinaha, it is not like that. But this Mukha Chandram has no Kalankam at all in the face. So Kalankinaha Chandrat, Atirichyate, it excels or it exceeds the moon which has Kalankam. Kalankinaha Kalanka Sahitat Chandrat Prasiddha Indoho Atirichyate Atishayitaha Bhavati. Why is it excelling the Prasiddha Chandra? Kalanka Abhavat. Because it does not have any chinnam, any black spots. It is better than the original Chandra or the famous Chandra. Atrapi Mukhe Chandratva Aropaha Dharmamatra Aropa Paryavasayi. The moon can give you Netranandam or anything, all of the three works that was shown before, right? You can take any of those works. So this face, the moon which is in the form of the face can also do all of the work that the moon can do. So Dharmamatra Aropa Paryavasayi. It ends with just carrying out the kanti or the netranandatvam ityadi dharmanameva tatra aropaha bhavati. So bhedasya pratiyamanatvat. There is a difference. You are saying mukha chandraha ayam satu prasiddha chandraha. Where are you showing that the mukha chandra is better than the prasiddha chandra? Kalanka rahitatvat. Mukha chandrasya utkarsha pratipadanat. Because this mukha chandra does not have kalankam, it does not have black spots. Utkarsha pratipadanat, we are showing that this is better than the original Chandra, which has spots. So, adhika tadrupya rupakam. Is that clear? Aparam udaharanam we have to see next time, because this is Naishada shloka. It will take some time to explain that. Annala, we will do it next class. So far, any doubts?
Maudya, that shlokam where we had the va was there in that shlokam. That is a aparam udaharanam for the anubhaya tadrupya rupakam. There, vriddhim va is there in this, but the big book has tava in that place. Which one is the correct version?
Vriddhim tava jhashaketanasya kuruteva.
Like that, it is there in the...
Illa tava varadu.
Tava bimba.
Tava is already here.
Tava bimbadre asti. Okay.
No, tava is here. Tava satyayam. We don't need another tava there. No, illiye. Vriddhim badane irke enoda bookla.
The anvaya part.
Huh?
The anvayaha.
Anvayaha kutra vartate? Adar kiriya. Illiye.
Tadapi tava bimbadre asti eva.
Because he has not used that tava before. Tava vaktrendava. Tava bracket la potukongo. Adallam bracket la potukongo. Idallam
Okay.
Don't worry about all that.
Okay.
That's okay. You can take it again, twice, thrice, whatever. Okay. So stop with this.